Ate kyenjagala kuwulira abasuubuzi baffe bonna gana mezi 10 kuva mu mwezi gw'okuna tubadde tuyigiriza tekinologi ono mpya wa Efris abantu basobole okumutegeera akola atya. Ate kyetulabye kuva mu kuyigiriza kuno tuzze nga tulaba enamba y'abasuubuzi abajja kwewandiikisa ku lukalala lwa Efris nga yeeyongeramu, ekitegeeza bategedde obulungi bwa Efris n'engeri gye bayambamu. So n'olwekyo ate n'ekirala kimu byali bireesewo okwemulugunya yali penalty ya Efris nga bagamba miliyoni 6 nga bakute nga tosaziza Efris, oluusi nga omusolo gw'obadde tosaziza buli mitwalo 10 kiwanvu nnyo. So mu mateeka ge tuleeta mu Parliament next week waliwo etteeka lye tutaddemu erigamba nti ekibonerezo kya Efris kibeere nga kyenkanankana kiri related ku musolo gw'obadde osaza, at least gubeere emirundi oba ebiri oba Parliament nga bw'enaasalawo. So tulowooza nti bwe tukyusamu mu tteeka ne twongera mu kuyigiriza, abasuubuzi bajja kwagala Efris kubanga Efris y'enkola ennungi eyamba abasuubuzi okusasula omusolo omutuufu, okubeera ne stock wabo nga tabbiddwa ne babeera ne system keeping a stock ne sales zaabwe, ate nabo ne basasula omusolo omutuufu okutali omuyitirivu oba omutono.
Ogende kuteekateeka omusolo gumusobola okukungaanya mu mwaka gw'ebyensimbi ogujja.
Yigiriza abawuuba omusolo kubanga tugenze nga tulaba nti abangi tebaawa musolo olw'obutategeera, ate ekirala abangi babbibwa omugezaako okuwa omusolo nga wakati waliwo ba middlemen abeefuula nga gavumenti ababajjako omusolo ate ne batagutuusa gwonna. So essira tulitadde mu kuyigiriza ba taxpayers. Mbadde mbanyonyola nti puroguramu ng'eno gye mubadde mulaba ku Bukedde eyabuuza komisona tugyongerayo mu mikutu emirala yonna. Ejja kubeera ku TV ku UBC omwezi guno ogwokuna, ejja kubeera mu Lupapula lwa New Vision, ejja kubeera ne ku televisions endala ne radios endala. Tusobole okubeera nga twengeginga aba taxpayers nga tubayigiriza. So eyo lyesira erisooka, naye enamba ey'okubiri kwongera maanyi ku kintu kya tekinologi. Tekinologi eyambako okusaavinga bulungi ate n'okugyamu gye bayita human discretion, abantu okusalawo ate olusi ne kireetamu ensonga eza corruption. So tekinologi naye gyagenda mu maaso omugazi wa tax base. Ate ekyokusatu naffe tujja kubeera nga tusikiringa abakozi baffe, kati tugenda ku expandinga ekitongole ate twongere okubayigiriza babeere nga bawerako ku ground abasobola kukungaanya omusolo ate nga balina ne skills oba knowledge ennungi enaabayambako mu collecting emisolo. So focus ejja kubeera ku staff, ku technology ne ku tax education mu mwaka guno mupya. Mwebalire ddala. Thank you. So, Honorable Chair, I'd like to comment on a few of the questions and some request that we provide the responses in writing. There was a question on how far we are progressing with Efris. This is the electronic physical receipting and invoicing solution. Honorable Chair and members, for the last 10 months, we've not been enforcing Efris, but we've concentrated, following the traders' strike, we've concentrated on sensitization and educating the taxpayers the benefit of Efris. Interestingly, we have noted improved voluntary registration on Efris by way of numbers registering, meaning that the message and the benefits is beginning to yield. However, like you know, the strength of any system would be in the capacity to ensure 100% compliance, which comes through enforcement. So it is our hope that we will get back to enforcing and ensuring that Efris is fully used. But having said that, we are also we have presented, or we will be presenting to Parliament through the Ministry of Finance, some measures, including reducing the penalty on Efris. We realized that was one of the points that was rubbing the taxpayers the wrong way. They thought the penalty was very high and punitive. So with a combination of changing the law, additional education, we believe that Efris will be adopted because it's the only way we can have transparent transactions and accurate tax assessment, and it has many benefits for the taxpayers. But for now, that is where we are. The next question, Honorable, was on the revenue mobilization strategy, and that one, the current one, is expiring at the end of June this year, and we are in the final stages of passing the new strategy for the next 5 years. We are handling this with the Ministry of Finance, and it will be ready before the end of this financial year when the current one expires. The next question was spent, a percentage of 99.2. The revenue collection and administration sub-program got a budget of 339.5 billion, and all of it was released, and all of it was spent as indicated in that table. So the overall performance as per the sub-program has an ongoing recruitment. The non-wage has ongoing procurements which have not yet been cleared but should be cleared by the end of the financial year. The next slide, Honorable Chair and members, is again on the performance for half year based on the sub-program, and indeed the expenditure ranges are the same based on the sub-program of administration and support services, which has so far spent 83% of the released amount, and revenue collection 89%, giving us an overall performance of 86%. Chair and members, the next slide is on the overall performance for the last financial year. The total net revenue collection for the last financial year was 27,301.22 billion. This was against the target of 29.218 and registering a performance of 93.44% and a revenue growth of 8.3% compared to the year before. And the breakdown shows how domestic revenues performed at 96.75 and international trade revenue at 88.02%. Honorable Chair and members, if I may move to the next slide. This again covers some items under the last financial year. The taxpayer register increased by 1,022,940 new taxpayers, representing a growth of 29.22% by the end of the financial year. and the register stood at 4.523324 taxpayers. The average filing ratio was at 79.9% for payee against a target of 84, and 89.14 for VAT against a target of 84. The total arrears recoveries were 1,612 billion, out of which domestic taxes were 1.564 trillion and customs was 48.33 billion. Tax investigations effort also contributed 334 billion.26 out of 291 cases. Next slide, Honorable Chair and members, is on the half-year performance by a total revenue of 15.248.99 trillion was collected by the end of December against a target of 14.926 trillion, registering a performance of 102.16%. 10.15 trillion was from domestic revenue against a target of 9.87, and 5.43 trillion was from international revenue collections against a target of 5.45, and therefore a performance of 99.66. And a total of 125 new taxpayers were added on the register by the end of December